Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. It is Friday, August 9th, 2013. SmackDown just ended a few minutes ago, and it's time for the rant. Show starts with the intro video, whoop-de-doo, and then Randy comes out. And we're going to start off with a match. And after he comes out, Rob Van Dam comes out. So it's going to be Orton versus RVD for a match. And this actually turned out to be a fairly good match. There was a commercial break in the middle of it, or somewhere in the match, whatever. The ending is RVD had already countered out of the RKO once. And that was, Randy went for it, and Rob just kind of did like a up kick and kind of kicked Randy in the face. And so he countered out of it that way. Right, so he had already countered that once. But Rob got Randy down and went for the 5-star, but Randy got out of the way, and Rob just hits the floor, right, and he, basically kills himself doing it anyways, so, yeah, so he hits it, he hits the ground, or the mat, and gets up, he's dazed, Randy RKO's the fuck out of him, and gets the win. Yeah.
Your fave has grown.
Yeah. After the match, they tease Christian versus Del Rio for later. Yes, you heard that right. One of the main title matches for the pay-per-view next Sunday, the World Heavyweight title match, is going to be later on tonight. It's not going to be for the world title tonight, but it is going to be Christian versus Del Rio. And this is like bad booking 101. You don't ruin your pay-per-view match by having the two opponents go against each other a week ahead of time. That's just not a good idea. But they say it's going to happen, so I'm like, whatever, I guess. And they also happen to say that the Miz TV segment that they revealed on Raw, that's going to be up next. So they teased that, and then they cut to a commercial. And when they come back, of course, we've got a recap of the match from Raw, which was Kaitlyn versus Layla, and AJ wound up coming down for the distraction to help Layla win. So they recap that. And then in the ring, Miz is in the ring, and it's time for the Miz TV segment. He introduces AJ and Big E, and they come out. And as they are coming out, they recap another match from Raw, which was Ziggler versus Big E. And Kaitlyn coming out to fight AJ, and it winding up causing enough of a distraction to distract Ziggler, and he got hit with the big ending and got beat. So they play the recap of that. And let's see, AJ and Big E get in the ring, and it's mostly Miz talking about how, AJ's been in so many relationships and she caused so much trouble for all the guys. And AJ's trying to be like, but I'm the victim. They dumped me and, broke my heart and everything. And I'm... whole point that the Miz is trying to make is like, there's a common denominator in all of these things. How is my inventory full already? Anyways, the Miz is trying to say, there's a common thread in all of these things, So I think the real person to blame here is AJ. That's what Miz is trying to say. Right. Getting distracted. Sorry about that. Right. So Miz is basically just trying to say that, you're the common thing in all of these things, so maybe the problem is you. And of course AJ's trying to... She's being all defensive and whatever the hell. Finally, she gets to talking about Ziggler. I can't remember exactly what she said about him, but she said he was just a little man. And he doesn't get to touch her anymore. So, like, whatever. And of course that cues Ziggler, who comes out. And he's basically playing it all cool, like, you know what? I'm so totally over you, and it's been like this all my life. Girls just can't get over me. And there was actually somebody in the crowd yelled out, Amy Schuler. If you don't know the story behind that, Amy Schuler, or Amy Schumer, I'm not sure her name, she's a comedian that dated Ziggler for a while, and she wound up breaking up with him. Because of what she said the reason was, is because the sex was too athletic. I don't know, but whatever. So, right, so Ziggler's... Oh, what the fuck? Stop coming fucking with me. You can't touch me. Anyways. Right, I'm getting really distracted. I'm sorry about that. Right, so Ziggler's playing it cool. There's more talking. And then all of a sudden, Caitlyn comes out. She comes out and she gets in the ring, and it basically just breaks down into everybody talking at once. And they're all yelling at each other and all this and that, and Miz is like, whoa! And so he comes up and he says, you know what, since I happen to be the host of SummerSlam, I feel like I can do anything. As a matter of fact, I feel like I'm going to go ahead and make a match for SummerSlam. And it's pretty obvious what he's going to make. He makes a mixed tag match, AJ and Big E versus Ziggler and Caitlyn. And after the announcement of this, a fight breaks out. Oh no, wait. What it was is, after Miz makes the announcement, Caitlyn says, I can't wait to slap the crazy out of AJ. And of course, AJ hates being called crazy, so she dives on Caitlyn, and they start fighting. And they fall over one of the couches that's in the ring. Of course, they have these couches in the ring because it's Miz TV. They fall over one of these couches, and they knock it over, and then Big E goes over. Or no, what it was is Ziggler goes over, and he's like trying to break him up. And Big E cracks him from behind and knocks him down. And then he goes over and he pulls Caitlyn off of AJ. And he sets her down in the corner and he's like, calm down. Calm down. And then Ziggler comes up from behind, hits the zigzag on Big E, knocks him out. All of a sudden, AJ, she finally comes back from over the frickin' couch. And she gets speared by Caitlyn. And so we end with Ziggler's music playing, and that's all well and good. So we've got a match with them. Didn't I predict something like that was going to happen? I thought I did. I'm not sure, though. But either way, so it looks like that's going to happen. They tease up another couple of segments. First, they say that Daniel Bryan is going to be going against Wade Barrett later on. And this is, of course, because of what happened on Raw with Barrett trying to shave Bryan and getting shaved himself. I don't remember if I mentioned that on Raw. But, yeah, when Bryan fought Barrett off out of the barber's chair, he also grabbed the pair of shavers, or the set of shavers, and he grabbed the shaver and he kind of shaved the side of Barrett's face. So Barrett had a beard, and it got part of it shaved off. So they tease up that match coming up, and they also tease up this segment called Blind Rage, which is apparently next. And then they cut to another commercial. And what this Blind Rage segment turns out to be, basically, is a recap of the match between Punk and Curtis Axel from Raw. Heyman getting involved, and then Punk tried to get his hands on Heyman, and then Brock came out, and the big fight that happened, and Brock beating up Punk. And that's basically all it is. And they're saying that what it was is Punk's blind rage. He was so obsessed with getting his hands on Heyman that he couldn't focus on fighting off Brock, and so that cost him, you know, getting his ass kicked by Brock. Whoa. Frickin' health just started dropping like crazy. Anyways, so, yeah, so that was the Blind Rage segment. After that, they cut to a interview segment that was done beforehand, I guess, and it's basically just Brock talking to a camera. He's sitting down in some dark room and whatever, and it's basically just an interview segment with him. And basically what this segment turns out to be is it's basically like if you've ever watched the UFC. They don't really cut like traditional promos on each other like in wrestling. They don't really trash talk each other, although they do kind of. And basically what this little interview segment with Brock is it's basically a UFC hype promo type of thing. Like, oh, we're getting ready for a big fight. We need to have these guys talk about each other. And basically all Brock says is, you know what, Punk's walking around here calling himself the best. And the idiot advertisers or whoever the hell it is that does the stuff, they're calling this match the best versus the beast. Well, I am the best and the beast. So, and he kind of gives Punk credit. He says, you know, being champion for that long is actually pretty impressive. But it's like, I don't know if you'd call it tongue-in-cheek or if you'd call it more of like an underhanded compliment, because he says, you know what, holding that belt for as long as you did is actually quite impressive, especially for a guy like Punk. And I'm like, Lesnar, you're a piece of shit, alright? You're roided up beyond all belief. You never were that good of a wrestler. Pro wrestler, that is. I mean, yeah, he was NCAA champion, and he even brings that up himself. Yeah, so what? You're roided up beyond all belief. You're a fucking goof. You got no fucking charisma. You can't hardly talk for shit. This interview thing was probably one of the best promos he's ever cut in his pro wrestling career. Because otherwise, he sounds like a goof. Because he's got this kind of high-pitched voice for a guy so big. He's got like the Mike Tyson syndrome, you know. And it's like, he says, you know, Punk was WWE champion for so long, but you know what? I was undisputed WWE champion when Punk was still wrestling in high school gymnasiums. And I'm like, yeah, so what? He actually wrestled real opponents. Unlike you, Brock, you were fighting pieces of shit like Triple H, like Hulk Hogan, like The Rock, guys who... Hogan and Triple H fucking blow. And Rock, he used to be good, but honestly, I think all this time in Hollywood has pussified The Rock. I really hope he don't come back anymore, because we don't need him back. He had his time. It's time for him to let somebody else shine. And that's all it feels like when The Rock comes back, is he's stealing the spotlight from guys who should be getting it. I've said for so long how there's a whole bunch of young guys that hardly ever get used, except for on like Main Event and Superstars, these crappy C shows that nobody even really pays attention to. They're treated like how NXT was treated. And it's really pathetic. But anyways, Brock's promo, who gives a fuck? After that, they cut backstage to the general manager's office where Del Rio is bitching up a storm to Vicky about making this match between him and Christian for later on. And honestly, I kind of agree. Because again, you really should not book your main event for a pay-per-view. Yeah, I know the world title's not going to be the main event, but it's going to be the SmackDown main event. Okay, so let's at least put it like that. You should not book that for a show before the pay-per-view. It's not good booking. It's dumb. And basically one of the things he says is Del Rio's still bitching at Vicky, and he says, what if I get hurt? You know, that could be very bad for the pay-per-view. That could be bad for you as the general manager. And Vicky says, you know what, that's just a choice I'm going to have to, or it's a choice I'm willing to live with, or whatever. So, I don't really get, again, why she would do this. But, you know, whatever. I don't really care. Yeah. So there's that stupid little segment. They cut back to the arena and Fandango comes out. Of course, with Summer Rae. They come out and they get down to the ring and they cut to another commercial. And before the break, I think it was Cole said he's going to be going against Kofi again. So we're getting a rematch from Raw. Sure enough, when we come back, Kofi comes out and we got us a match. Not only that, but they happen to do a recap of the match from Raw. And was basically just a recap of Kofi winning. And so anyways, we start having this match. And it's going fairly well. It's a decent enough match. The finish basically comes when Johnny gets thrown out of the ring. And Kofi goes up to the top. He's going to dive down on him. But after Johnny got thrown out of the ring, Summer goes over to him to check on him. And she's in the way when Kofi goes to dive. He doesn't really go to dive. He's on the top rope and he's like, "Move, bitch, get out the way." And Summer's like bitching at him. She's like, "What are you doing?" You know, whatever the fuck. Anyways, Kofi jumps down from the top rope, but he just jumps down to the apron. And he's still like, "Get out of the way, bitch. You know, I want to hit this guy." But it doesn't matter because Kofi jumps off of the apron at Johnny. And Summer ends up having to dive underneath Kofi to avoid getting hit. And she fakes twisting her ankle again. And she's like, "Ow, ow, my leg." And of course, Kofi's distracted by this. Johnny uses the distraction to kind of recover. And Johnny recovers. He grabs Kofi, who's distracted on the outside. He grabs Kofi and sends him frickin' head first into the corner post. And Kofi fucking runs into this post. Like, it looked pretty sick. I don't know if he actually hit it, but it sure as hell looked like he did. He hits this thing and his head snapped back and he hit the fucking mat on the outside of the ring. It looked brutal. But anyways, Johnny picks his limp carcass up, throws him into the damn ring, gets up on the top rope, hits his big guillotine leg drop. That's his finishing move. He hits it, and he gets the win. So, yeah. And of course, Summer was fine. She was just faking. Anyways, after the match, they cut backstage to Brian walking through one of the hallways, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be one of those normal segments where they just have the dude walking through the backstage hallway or whatever, and then they cut to commercial. But no. Brian's walking through the backstage, and then all of a sudden up comes Renee Young. And she's like, "Brian, I just want to ask you a question real quick." And she basically just asks him about the stupid makeover thing, and Brian starts cutting his promo, and he's just, you know, the beard is still here, whatever the fuck. Anyways, that ends, and they say, "Oh, the match is up next." They cut to commercial. So it basically was just with an added promo. Anyways, when they come back from the commercial, they show another recap. There was a lot of recaps during this show. This one was of the match between The Shield going against Orton, Cena, and Bryan from Raw. And of course it showed after the match Randy RKOing both Bryan and Cena. So whatever. After that, Bryan comes out, and then Barrett comes out. He's totally shaved now. His beard is totally gone. And as he's coming out, I notice he has the electric shaver in his hand. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to try and do this. He's going to try and shave Bryan, and it's going to backfire. And yeah, pretty much. That's basically the only note from the match. The match is going for a while, and it's a decent enough match again. But Barrett hits a big frickin' winds of change on Bryan. Bryan was actually screaming across the ring to go for the corner dropkick thing. Barrett caught him into the winds of change. Got good rotation on it. Slams him down real hard, and it looked good. I think it was after that, Barrett rolled out of the ring and decides to grab the shaver. He had put it over on the announce desk. He goes to grab it, and Bryan's laid out on the apron right over by the announce table. He goes to use it on Bryan. Bryan fights him off, kicks him off. He's able to do his big diving knee shot off the apron. He hits that. He rolls Barrett back in the ring, goes up to the top rope, does his big flying Benoit headbutt, and then after the headbutt, he rolls him over, cinches him up right into the no-lock. Barrett taps out like the bitch that he is, and Bryan wins. And after the match, Bryan goes outside the ring and grabs the shaver, and I think he puts it down on the ring steps and just stomps on it and breaks it. Whatever. After that, they go backstage where Renee Young is interviewing Damian Sandow. And she asks him, you know, what's up with this shit with Cody, and they show a recap once again of Cody throwing the Money in the Bank briefcase into the Gulf of Mexico and all that shit. And Sandow's like, you know what? It doesn't matter because I have a new briefcase. And he whips this thing out, and it's this nice leather-bound briefcase. It actually looks like a briefcase and not like the metal like attaché cases that they've been using. Like these metal ones they've been using, they look like, you're going to open the thing up and it's going to be full of like money, like at a drug deal or something, or it might even be full of drugs. But no, he whips out this beautiful leather-bound briefcase, and it's got the Money in the Bank logo embossed on the leather on the side of it, and it looks fantastic. And he's like, you know what, I've got a new briefcase, and inside of it is a fresh contract. It's legal and it's binding, and I'm going to cash it in when I choose to do so, and I will become the new world heavyweight savior of the masses. That kind of shtick. Whatever. He ends his little promo, and then they show Kane backstage walking through one of the corridors or something, and of course it's all dark and they get that kind of reddish light. Apparently Kane's got a match up next. They cut to a commercial. Holy crap, look at all the money.
My inventory is full. I can't carry anymore.
Yeah. So anyways. Right, so when they come back from the commercial break, they basically show another Wyatt family video, and it's basically just like a recap of everything they've done so far, and it also shows the whole thing from Monday night, where they had their promo with Kane. And yeah. So after they show that crap, Kane comes out, and already in the ring are all three members of the 3MB. And you're probably guessing, okay, so which one's going against Kane? All of them. Yes, that's right. Kane gets a 3-on-1 handicap match. Him versus all three guys of the three-man band. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is a complete and total squash match. Kane destroys these three guys. He beats the hell out of McIntyre, throws him into the ring steps on the outside of the ring. He grabs a hold of Slater, beats him up, throws him over the announce table. And, of course, JBL and Cole, they, get the hell out of the way. And JBL is just like, just stay down, kid. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Back in the ring, Kane gets a hold of Jinder Mahal, choke slams the hell out of him, and pins him. And that's basically the whole match. It was short, it was a squash match, but I guess basically all they wanted to do was make Kane look good. Not like he really needs much build at this point. The guy is, Yeah. But anyways, after the match, the lights go out and we get a little promo from Bray Wyatt. He's up on the Titantron, and this is exactly kind of like a role reversal from Monday. Kane's standing in the ring, and the Wyatt guys are on the Titantron, and Wyatt's cutting this crappy promo, and it really was crappy. I heard some people in the crowd during it chanting boring, and I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker is boring. But basically all he says is he goes over this Ring of Fire match, and the description he gives, it sounds almost exactly like an Inferno match. But I guess the difference is, unlike an Inferno match, the match doesn't end if you light somebody on fire. That's an Inferno match. You light the guy on fire. No, apparently the only purpose of the outside of the ring being on fire is just to keep people out. But it's still just a basic match where I guess you win if you pin the guy or you make him tap out. I don't know. But Wyatt's like, yeah, I like that idea. We can do this, and then I'm gonna, I'm not afraid of your fire. And he starts talking all this insane babble. He says, your fire is afraid of me because the fire is smart enough. I'm like, you are a fucking moron. Fire is inanimate. It does not have feelings or emotions. Fire is not afraid of anyone. It can't be afraid because it's not a living thing. You moron. This gimmick sucks. I want him to fucking leave. This guy has no talent, no charisma. And he comes from a family of no fucking charisma. Why the hell are they wasting time with this ass clown? I really want to know, because I don't see any value to this. None. But anyways, who gives a fuck? Oh shit, you know what? I completely jumped the gun on that thing with Brock earlier. Anyways... yeah, but Wyatt gets done cutting his stupid promo, and Kane is like, whatever, and he just makes the ring posts blow up. He gets his pyro, and then they cut to commercial. And after the commercial is actually where they do the interview with Brock, the UFC promo thing. So I kind of jumped the gun on that. But oh well, whatever. After that, Christian comes out. It's time for the main event. But they cut to another damn commercial. After the commercial, Del Rio comes out, and of course, Ricardo is nowhere to be found because he had his ass kicked by Del Rio, and they show a recap of just that. After the recap, they start the fucking match. And it actually turns out to be a good match. The only things of note, there was a commercial break fairly early in the match, as I recall. Whatever. They went for a while more. There was a spot where they were both up on the corner. Not like normally, like how you would do like a superplex where one guy's on the inside of the corner and the other guy's on the outside. No, they were both on the sides. And what ended up happening is Del Rio was looking like he was trying to go for a superplex like to the outside of the ring, and I'm like, you can't do that, idiot. You'll kill both of you. That's not going to be a good idea. But what ends up happening is they're both up there on the corner, and they both just kind of shove each other, and they both fall off and hit the floor. And I'm thinking, okay, well, with this being like a champion versus challenger, like pay-per-view match, I'd figure, okay, this is where they're going to have, like, a double count-out finish. And they're like, okay, so we'll, whatever. But no. While they're both out on the floor, they decide to cut to another damn commercial break. And I'm like, okay. They come back, and the commentators have to explain, oh yeah, they both beat the count somehow, and the match continues. So they fight for a while. Del Rio went for that kneeling super kick, whatever. Christian ducked it and was able to get out of the way. I think Del Rio went for the cross arm breaker, but Christian rolled out of it. and was able to go for a roll-up. But he didn't get the win. But what ended up happening was... trying to remember. Oh yeah, Del Rio was finally able to hit that concussion kick, that kneeling super kick thing, but he was tired, so he couldn't go for the pin. And so he finally, gets to him, or he gets around to doing stuff. And oh shit. Yeah, so okay. Right. So he hits that big super kick and he tried to recover, and he finally gets around to it. He just pulls Christian back because after he hit the kick on Christian, Christian just kind of went throat first over the bottom rope. And yeah, so he pulls Christian into the middle of the ring, and he's like, I'm going to go for the arm breaker or whatever. And I think Christian got out of it. He went for the kill switch. Del Rio countered out of it and hit the back cracker, the backstabber, whatever the fuck. There was a spot where they went up to the top rope, and Christian gave Del Rio a big super Frankensteiner off the top rope. I can't remember what led up to it, but Christian wound up, I think it was after the stupid super kick. He had Christian in the middle of the ring, and he's just kind of like taunting, being all heel and whatever, and then he goes to grab Christian off the mat. Christian cinches him up for a small package and gets the 1-2-3. And Del Rio's surprised as fuck. He's like, what the fuck? And he's totally surprised and he's pissed off because he just got beat. And so he's really pissed, but Christian's celebrating and whatever. But Del Rio's on the outside. He's throwing a fit because he just lost. And yeah, so yeah, but Del Rio winds up, he's throwing a fit. He's all pissed off. He's yelling at the commentators. He goes back in the ring, and it looks like he's trying to attack Christian. But what happens is he grabs Christian, and Christian just and he turns him around, hits the frickin' kill switch on him real quick, and just lays him out. And then Christian leaves, and Del Rio is left face down in the middle of the ring. And I'm like, okay, is that where we're going to end the show? No, because Sandow's music hits. And I'm like, oh shit, we're going to get a cash in. Sandow comes down, and he's got his seriously fucking thing. Right. Sandow comes down. He's got his briefcase, and he's got a referee. And what ends up happening is he gets in the ring, and he's checking on Del Rio. He like kind of nudges him with his foot, and it's like, yeah, he's pretty out. And so he's like, yes, I'm going to cash it in. And the crowd pops because they want it. And what ends up happening is, as the referee is taking the briefcase to go over to the ring announcer, Cody Rhodes comes from out of nowhere and dives down on Sandow from the top rope, crossbodies him, starts punching him, and he basically just stops it. And it's getting real old seeing Cody get in the way here. So I'm really getting tired of seeing him. He doesn't deserve to be world champion. He doesn't deserve to be fucking with Sandow, keeping him from becoming world champion, because Sandow actually deserves it. He's a good wrestler, he's good on the mic, and he's way better in every area than Rhodes. So, it's really just getting old. Thankfully, though, we have a match at SummerSlam, which is going to be Cody and Sandow, and hopefully Sandow will just beat the ever-loving piss out of Cody, and I mean beat the ever-loving piss out of him. I'm hoping this match doesn't even happen. I'm hoping what happens is they come out for the match, and Sandow just decides to go apeshit and beat Cody to a frickin' bloody pulp. And just finally prove, you know what, Cody, I've had enough of your shit, you stopping me from cashing in on SmackDown, throwing my damn briefcase into the Gulf of Mexico. I'm tired of your little bitch ass. Man. Where the hell? Yeah, but... yeah. So, but yeah, that was the end of SmackDown, was Cody stopping Sandow from cashing in. And of course, the show actually ends with Cody's music playing. So apparently they're trying to hype Cody up. I really hope they don't try and have him actually beat Sandow. No, seriously, Sandow should beat the hell out of Cody in this match. Like I said, the match shouldn't even happen. It should be Sandow beating Cody to within an inch of his miserable life. And just proving once and for all that he's better than Cody. So, but anyways, that was the end of the show. The show actually ends with his fucking music, Cody's music playing, which is probably like a first. I don't think that's ever happened before. But that was it for the show. SummerSlam is going to be next Sunday, apparently. So, yeah. I will be doing my rant for that, of course. But we got Raw coming up Monday, and then Friday we got another episode of SmackDown before. So, we will have to see what happens. And, so once again, I'd kind of like to go over what we know about SummerSlam so far. We've got WWE title match, Bryan and Punk, or Bryan and... yeah, I wish it was Bryan and Punk, then it would actually be a pretty good match. Bryan versus Cena. So we got WWE title match, Bryan versus Cena. We have World Heavyweight title match, Del Rio versus Christian. Now, Christian was able to get the win on Del Rio tonight. So, it's not looking good for Christian at the pay-per-view, because it's an old wrestling cliche. If a guy's looking good going into a pay-per-view, chances are he's not going to win. So, and that also happens to be the case with Daniel Bryan. He's been on one hell of a streak for the last couple of months. So, I don't know if things are really looking all that good for Bryan either. But at this point, with all this build, it would kind of be stupid for them to not have Bryan win. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see once again. Also just announced was the mixed tag, Ziggler and Caitlyn versus AJ and Big E. I can only imagine Ziggler and Caitlyn winning that one. What else we got? There's been nothing announced for the Intercontinental title. So, if anything happens, it'll probably be on the pre-show. Not that anybody cares. Curtis Axel's a fucking complete bore. Just boring motherfucker. Nothing's been announced for the US title either. Or the tag team titles. Although I'm sure we'll probably have something about that on Raw. Not that it matters. The Shield should hang on to those belts for the time being. Because, once again, it's been a bad trend in the WWE over the last several years. Is pretty much every title has changed hands so many times, and it devalues the titles. Having, the belts just be hot potatoed from guy to guy to guy. It's like, let somebody hold on to these things for a while. Bring back the prestige. Bring back the honor. Bring back the dignity. You have people hot potato the belts around. It takes the value, the specialness of the title. It takes them away. Especially when the champions are made to look weak. They had pieces of crap like Santino Marella, and fucking they had Zack Ryder holding the US title briefly. Yeah. Don't know why that fucking happened. I guess they just wanted to capitalize on his stupid popularity, which is gone now, by the way. Ryder don't spike his hair no more. He's got the little sissy leave it to Beaver do going on like a queer. It's Ryder's done. He's got no future left in the WWE. His little push that he had, it went nowhere, and he got nothing out of it except thrown off the stage. Fuck him. He doesn't deserve it anyways. He's a piece of shit. What else do we know about SummerSlam? We got the WWE title match. We got the World Heavyweight title match. We got the big mixed tag. We've got Punk versus Brock. That should be interesting, although I'm pretty sure Punk's going to win. They'd be stupid to not have him win. That was interesting. Huh. Well, anyways, don't really know what the hell else we've got going for SummerSlam. I can't think of any other matches. Like I said, there's not really been anything announced for the tag titles or the US title or the Intercontinental title. There won't be a Divas title match because AJ is in the mixed tag match. So that match, or that title, won't be on the line at all. They haven't said anything about the pre-show even. So I'm guessing they're waiting until Raw this coming Monday and next week on Friday to make more matches for SummerSlam. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. We'll have to wait and see. But other than that, that was SmackDown for August 9th, 2013. I did not happen to catch where the hell they were at. I don't know what the hell it is, but on SmackDown, I never happen to catch where they're at for these shows. I don't know what it is. But, yeah, that was it for SmackDown. Show was alright, aside from Rhodes deciding to fuck over Sandow. We could have had a new world champion. We could have had a world champion, somebody who doesn't suck, in Sandow. But no, Cody has to fuck it up. Little bastard. Anyways, that's it for the Wrestling Rant for tonight. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for Monday when we will be doing Raw. We will see you then.